Just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday. Today's topic is going to be doing the best you can, even with short work weeks. This is episode 111. Once again, guys, welcome. Appreciate you being here. The inspiration for tonight's topic actually comes from how this week actually went. It's like literally, my work week is usually, technically it's Tuesday through Saturday, but Saturday is actually on the next pay period. So, the way my pay week kind of goes, it goes Saturday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Even though I work till Saturday, I do my 5-day work week. I, on the payday wise, it's going Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So this week, basically, I worked Saturday. I had my Sunday, Monday off, and then I came in Tuesday and I did the Illinois run, and then Wednesday I basically sat home. They didn't have any runs for me to do. And Thursday, I was told, "Oh, I definitely have something for you tonight." And basically never heard anything. So I ended up basically what I try to do is I'm always all about continue to how I'm always about. Always push forward, always keep believing, we only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. So basically what I try to do to try to because when we're all stressing, we all stress about finances. Well, unless you're super rich, then you probably don't stress about finances. But I'm sure a lot of us that aren't, financially really well off, we're still living paycheck to paycheck, trying to pay off debts, trying to accomplish our goals and get a house or whatever. Or that's one of my goals, Or my case, aside from trying to buy a house, trying to, get other things off the ground, like working on the writing projects to publish the books, continuing to work on this podcast, which of course eventually I will figure out how to get it fully off the ground. And I know that there's people that do it full time, and I'm like, how the hell do you do it? I would love if you're a podcaster, you come across my podcast and you actually basically do it full time. You don't have to, you don't go out and work a regular job. You just do your podcast because you've monetized it. Feel free to drop me a line, blodgettshowpodcast@gmail.com, and let me know exactly what you recommend I do, like how one goes and gets advertising on their show, and can do sponsors and whatnot. 'Cause I have no idea. I'm trying to figure it out. Eventually I will. I think through my host platform, I think there's some suggestions in there, part of the problem with my hosting platform is when you're looking at that, they want you to send like a report about like, well, like your listeners are from this part, this area, and you know, you have this demographic, whatever. I'm like, I have no freaking idea. Like, all I know is basically when I look at where people have downloaded my show from, it shows the countries. Like, it shows you had this many from the U.S., this many from Germany. I think I had one from Russia that showed up one time. I think there's been a couple times where I looked and I had a couple from Nigeria. And I think I had some Australian, you know, but usually, you know, since I'm not at that level of growth yet where, you know, I can say my show's really taken off, but I know that it won't if I stop, so I gotta keep going, you know? Because that's what I'm all about, you know, keep pushing forward, keep doing what you gotta do, and never quit. Plus, I'm always talking about consistency, you know, like whenever I've been doing, it's been a minute, but whenever I've done my lives, my videos, doing the short digital marketing stuff for the Legacy Builder program, which if you guys want to check that out, blogicsshow.com/freedom. But whenever I was doing those videos or whatever, basically I've always talked about consistent. At the time, I was talking about consistent daily action. But since I've kind of taken a little bit of a step back, still doing it, but that's why I love the automation part of that. I've been letting the automation do most of the work, because my videos are still out there. Probably got a couple hundred videos out there, and I log in probably a couple times a week to check my automate my automations, my account, and all that stuff. And I've gone up a couple leads here, a couple leads there, so that means people are they're opting in on my page. They're getting directed to my site with the Legacy Builder, with the 4 different programs that we offer there, and you know, they're getting the automated emails that are automatically coming to them. So really, I am just letting it do its thing, and while I focus on like because I've still got the cheaper options. So you know, it's like my mentor Tara, you know, with the Legacy Builder. Little shout out to Tara there. I'm not sure if she's a listener on this podcast, but if she is, hey, shout out, fist bump, appreciate you. You know, she's always like, when getting guidance and advice. Almost said advice. Guidance and advice. Yeah, okay, I just made up a word there. But guidance and advice. She still always says that if something's not working, you especially as an entrepreneur, you pivot, try something else. And so, you know, I've done quite a bit with my Legacy Builder business opportunity or whatever with that. But you know, when I started, I didn't have a huge following, and so it's, you know, you're literally building from scratch. So I've had to pivot a few times, try a few different things, and you know, now basically I've kind of backed away from doing all the videos every day like I've been doing, just letting it work for me and stuff. That's what I love about it. Whether it's the $100 launch pad or the $900 Legacy, you know, I'm just letting it work. You know, 'cause if somebody joins the $100 launch pad with me, not only do they get to resell that again, you know, like they can resell that over and over again and make the full commission, the full $100. It's like somebody that comes in with $900, they can turn around and resell that and get people coming in for the same program and make $900 pop. But then they would then have access. They would have a site, all that stuff as well. So, but you know, so I've been letting that do its work, letting that just, you know, people can come across my videos. They can do what, you know, they can, you know, either check my site out or not check my site out. Honestly, it's one of those. The way I approach that, which there's people that'll get in people's inboxes and like, hey, check it out, blah blah blah. With that program, technically, the way the lady that created it, it's not meant to be promoted that way. It's literally teaches you how to digital market to actually, you know, to not be in people's inboxes. They call it literally a rejection-free business, because you're not supposed to be getting people's messages or people's inboxes and trying to sell them, trying to convince them to buy. You know, because we deal with enough of that as it is. You know, where people are trying to get you to join this program, join that program. You know, hey, check it out, check it out. Or I love it when they message you. They get in your inbox. Basically, they pretend that they go and check out your site, as if they're like, hey, I want you to check out my site, but I'll check out yours first. And so like, hey, what's your site? I'm like, all right, cool, I'll give it to them. You know, good old dailyincomeforoyou.com. You know, which is where they would see the main page. They put their email in there, and it directs them to the page with the actual digital products that I offer. But I know they don't put their name and email in there, or their email, not their name. But it's just one of those things, you know. They, you know, you can kind of tell. You know what they say? Don't bullshit a bullshitter. So, when you give them their message or the site, they come in there and they basically are like, oh my god, yeah, your site was really awesome. I was curious though, how do you promote it? Like, how do you advertise? And I'm always like, well, if you actually put your email in there and went to the next page, you would already know, because it talks all about it. Oh, okay. And then a couple weeks later, like, hey, did you ever have a chance to check out my site? I said, yeah, I did. Not really interested. Because it's like, if you're gonna lie to me and say that you're not gonna do what you said you're gonna do, then why should I do what you want me to do on your site? It's like, come on, man. You know, at least be upfront and honest, man. I'm not really gonna check it out. But rambled on a little bit at that, so you know, I apologize, guys. End of the week for me, you know. But so to go with what the topic was about, basically, it was like, so like I said earlier, like this week, I ended up not working Wednesday, not working Thursday. And what I did those nights was basically, I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to take this time, because I've done it before where when I'd had a week where I lost a couple days because we didn't have any loads to run, I would end up, you know, basically sitting at home and just stressing out, just like not doing anything, stressed out, and I might look at other jobs and stuff, but then at the same time, I'm still kind of standing firm on the fact that I don't want to just leave my job, start a new job down here, and stay here in Nashville. Like, if I leave, I kind of want to start fresh. That's kind of what I want to do. Like, get out of our apartment, get to do, like, relocate out to Kansas, maybe, meet your family, or hell, it doesn't have to be Kansas. It could be, like, Indiana, it could be Missouri, you know. If it was up to my daughter, my oldest, she actually said recently that she wants to go to the coast. She wants to go to, like, Georgia or Florida or something. She wants to go near the ocean. And I'm like, yeah, but the only problem with that is you deal with hurricanes. And then, of course, my wife jumped in and said, yeah, but if we go to the Midwest, we deal with tornadoes. I said, yeah, but but tornadoes aren't always going to hit the same. But yeah, we got Tornado Alley and stuff. I've lived out in the Midwest, and we've always had tornadoes that hit close by, but knock on wood, I've yet to actually deal with, like, actually being in the path of one. Like, over 40 years old, thank God, you know, still I haven't had to deal with that, even though I've had tornadoes get really close. So it's like, I figure, plus I kind of was joking with my daughter that I'm more of a lake guy. Like, I like the ocean, don't get me wrong, you know. Like, I would go out, I'd probably fish in the ocean. But I'm kind of not a huge fan of actually being in the ocean as far as like swimming goes. So I said, well, you know, if we're near a lake, especially the Midwest, if it's a lake down near like the southeast or whatever, or just the South in general, probably dealing with alligators and whatnot. But a lake up in the Midwest, you're probably not going to have anything too big in the lake, hopefully. And I said it's a safety thing. You know, we're probably safer. And my daughter kind of made a funny comment. She goes, well, I'm not looking for safety. I'm looking for ocean. I said, well, that's kind of interesting. You should be looking for safety. I understand you want to be near the ocean, but, like, you were talking, like, swimming in the ocean, you have the risks of something big coming up for you, you know? Like, maybe mistaking you for something else, you know? then plus the hurricanes, you know, like losing your entire house in a hurricane or something. So, but yeah, so that's kind of what I want to do. Is I want to switch jobs, but I don't want to switch jobs to stay here, you know. But during the couple days that I've been off, I got on my computer. I'm actually quite a bit into the next story and also the next story already. So like by the time you guys hear this episode, by that point I should already have it already done, pretty much. So it'll be ready to go. And if you haven't caught the last story yet, on Friday it was a story called Adult Tag. I had to go in there and edit it a little bit because when I recorded that episode, I did it literally. I should have done it earlier in the week, but finally did it Friday morning at like 3 a.m. Everybody was asleep. I went into our separate room that we use as a game room, closed the door, shut off the ceiling fan so that there'd be literally no background noise at all. You know, because I didn't bring a microphone, my headset up with me. I was just gonna record it straight on the phone, and usually that's fine, especially like if I'm able to talk, you know, at a decent volume, then I can record just with the phone mic, and it'll be pretty clear. But of course, because everyone's asleep, I was trying my best because deep voice, so trying to like keep it down so I didn't wake people up even within hearing me between the walls and whatnot, you know, or through the walls. But I got it recorded, and for those of you who already listened to it, you probably already know. Like, cause of course, I listen to my episodes after they post, so that way I can make sure that everything sounds okay. Even though with the story, it's not like I'm gonna go back and re-record the story, but I might have to correct something when I'm editing it or whatever. So kind of what I went back and did. I listened to it when it posted, and I realized that even though I'm clearly speaking and you can hear me, it was very quiet. So I went in there to the where I had the sound file saved on my phone, and went back in there to the editor, and I went to the vocal part, whatever, and I basically upped the volume on that recording, and then saved it again and uploaded it back to replace the current file on my hosting platform. And then when I got on the road today, I played that episode for probably about 5 or 10 minutes, and even though I still had to turn the volume up a little bit, you can definitely hear me a lot better than you did before. So sometimes, it happens. Or there'll be times where I'll screw up. There'll be something that in the editing process that I don't do quite right. I don't have it blend well or something when I'm doing the background music. And so I'll listen to it and I'll realize in mid-episode, like, oh crap, like I screwed that up. I had one time, for whatever reason, I somehow had 2 copies of the file in there, and one was like towards the end. So I was listening to the episode, and I got down to like the middle-ish, about 50 to 75% mark, in the as it's playing, and all of a sudden I started hearing it sounded like an echo. It was like literally I'm hearing two versions of my voice talking on the podcast. Like, hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? What's up? This is how it's going. This is how it's going. I'm like, oh, what the? And so I went back in the file because and of course it had published, and I had listened to it for like 5 hours, and then I went in there a little bit later that night, and I was heading to my when I did my pickup, and I was heading down to pretty sure it was heading to Huntsville. I went ahead and played the episode, and I caught that. Went, oh crap, I got to fix that. So I had to go in there and figure out how the heck I had a second copy in there, and delete the extra copy, make sure everything else sounded good, as far as I can tell what I'm doing with the editing, and then resaved, re-uploaded to replace the current one, and then I had to give it like 30 minutes because once I upload it, it'll take a few minutes, like 15 to 30 minutes to actually like re-update everywhere on the different platforms. I was glad when I first started doing this, and when I first made a mistake, I went and uploaded to my platform, and then I was like, I wonder how I update on like iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all the platforms. And then I realized after about half an hour, I went on there and listened to it, and the podcast episode was updated on that platform. Oh, cool. So if I save that file, it actually corrects it on all the platforms. That's cool. Because I was worried, is it man, I have to go everywhere and update every individual place? That's gonna suck. So thankfully that's not the case. But these last 2 days that I was off, basically I just tried to make the most of it. So I got literally, I think within like a 2-hour period, I just started, before I did recorded the story, I was just working on next Friday's Storytime Friday story, and I very quickly got to like, I think it was like 17, 18 pages so far. So I try to keep them at least below like 30 to 40 pages, for a story, so that way it's not too long. But I guess it really depends on the story, especially the ones that have multiple parts, because those are very easily over probably an hour and a half long for the whole story, because it's like 3 parts, But I was surprised that I was that far in, though. I was like, oh, 17, 18 pages, holy crap, man. But then I was looking at the time going, but I really have to get Friday's episode recorded, because otherwise I'm going to fall short again. I don't want to do that, so I saved the current story, and I shut all the lights off, grabbed my stuff, headed upstairs to go ahead and get that done and get ready for bed, But one thing I do love about that I've actually started to really notice when I'm, as far as me as a writer, doing the short stories for the podcast, which again, if you do this podcast, there will be the possibility of being able to get physical or digital copies of those stories that you can purchase, because I will be publishing them, basically compiling them into volumes. So I've got Blodgett Show Podcast Short Stories Volume 1 already. Basically, all the stories for that one it's completed. I just got to do the beginning, the intro, and basically close the book out at the end, and then I've got Volume 2 started, because now I've got I believe I have now the one that's going to be going for Friday after this episode airs. I believe that'll be the second story for that volume. I'm basically figuring 150 to 200 page, max goal. I don't want it to be like a novel for each volume, even though I could probably do that too. There would just be more stories in each book, but I'm trying to spread it out. Like Volume 1, I think, has like five stories in it, and Volume 2, who knows? Because I've already working on the second story now. My novel, about 2/3 of the way completed. I've been opened that up last night when I was working, and basically got a little bit of work done on that. Figured since I'm so far completed so far, at least on the Friday's story coming up, I'm hoping to be able to use a lot more time on my days off to work on the novel, to start continue adding to that, because I want to get that done. I want to get another volume of the Blodgett Show Podcast Short Stories done, and continue just because I have other ideas for stories I want to write, and eventually once I get these published, I'll create a section or a link on the Blodgett Show website. Again, for those of you new, or those of you who are new, blodgettshow.com, feel free to check it out. Click the promotions tab to see some links down there. But once I get those all, start the publishing process and stuff, then I'll definitely let you guys know how you guys can gain access to those, where you can pretty much buy them. But But anyway, the point of this episode tonight, even though I've kind of done a lot of rambling, so I apologize. That was not the intent, you know. But you know how it is, like just when you deal with not a rough week, but just not the best week, you know. Because even though I always enjoy the extra time off, just because I find that I'm less stressed, you know. But I had to make a conscious decision on let's see, what was it? Thursday night, I think. Yeah, because I was off Wednesday and I was off Thursday. And Wednesday night, I went ahead and hopped across the street and I got my drinks. Because I thought, well, I'm off. You know, it's basically what I do on my weekend. I'll grab my drinks. And if any weeks where I've had random day off in the middle of the week because of loads canceling, I go ahead and go get my drinks and chill out and relax again. Just kind of, you know, relax, kick back for the day. But Thursday night I opted to, because I was still kind of, you know, kind of slacked off a little bit, you know, my off days. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna forego the adult beverages, and instead I'm just gonna, you know, hang out at home, you know, try to get some work done on the next week's story, which is basically the Friday after this episode airs. So the upcoming Friday, I guess. So wanted to get some work done on that, and then get the episode recorded for that. You know, this Friday we just went through for the story that was the adult tag story. Plus, you know, after you drink the night before, like sometimes you just feel like shit the next day. So, you know, enjoying my drinks Wednesday night. Definitely Thursday morning-ish, whatever. I had to, you know, you drink water to hydrate. Just kind of like try to. Cause I made the mistake of not really hydrating a whole lot before going to bed. So the next day when I woke up, I wasn't hungover, but I just. Maybe it was a little bit hungover. I don't know. Wasn't throwing up or anything, but you know, you wake up and like you have a headache and like you're top heavy, you know. So it's like, man, I feel like crap. Doesn't help if you didn't get enough sleep. Cause for some reason, I had one of those nights. I was one of the Thursday or Wednesday night was one of those nights where even though I got to bed at a decent hour, I think I got to bed by like 3. Probably 2:30, 3 o'clock, and yet I got up at noon. So you figure 9 hours, but during that time, I just struggled to sleep. Like I kept waking up, you know, or you get hot, even though you have fans on. Like all of a sudden you're overheating. You know, it's like okay. So Thursday I decided, you know what? I'll probably be working Friday because. Very rarely, whenever we have a lack of loads, I think I had 1 week where I literally had 3 days off. You know, that week kind of sucked. I literally had like 2 days at work. But most weeks, whenever I've had loads cancel, it's like I might be off for 2 days, and then my boss is like, all right, be in at this time tonight. I got this load for you. I'm like, cool, all right. Because I'll tell them straight up, hey, look, man, like, if this doesn't change, I said, I probably won't even give you notice. I'll probably just have to quit and go somewhere else because I can't take another 2 weeks to go start another job when I'm not really making much right now because I'm losing days. And he's like, no, I got you. I'll figure something out. Like, all right. So I'm like, look, like I want to give notice if I leave, but if I'm barely working, then what's the point? I've tried to be upfront with him as much as I can. I was doing like 2 weeks where I was doing loads. It's like half the miles I've been doing when I do my Illinois run, and I did it for a week, a little over a week, and then I finally messaged him and said, hey, like I'm losing a lot of money doing the current route because it's only 1,500 miles versus 2,700 miles, and I was like, that's like a $600 loss per week. I was like, I'm not going to be able to hang out here too much longer if this is where I'm at. And he's like, no, we're going to try to get you an extra run for that to add about 100 miles a day, and then that'll get you back up there. And I'm like, all right, well, if that's the case, then I'll hang out here and wait. I'll stay. I'm just wanting you to give you a heads up that, you know, if I give you a 2-week notice, it's probably why, because I can't afford to stay with you guys anymore. So, but at the same time, part of me is like, one of the things that I don't know if I ever told you guys since I began this, this podcast, which I might have. I know we've had a lot of real talk episodes, so I may have probably already talked about it. But when I came off the road and I started on the other side of FedEx, was doing the box trucks, delivering the packages to people's doors, I initially had told myself, this is going to be my last job. I'm going to figure out how to work from home. I'm going to, that way I can, basically just work this job until I figure it out. And then I can basically be home full time, do what I got to do to make money that way. But then, of course, the dog attack happened. I ended up out of work for like 6 months because I was getting my knee back in shape, as I was pretty screwed up. And then I came back to FedEx on the trucking side, and basically I had told myself the same thing. This is my last job. I'm not planning to go anywhere else. I'm planning to do this job until I figure out how to get myself, basically retire myself. And then, of course, things happened after being there at that job for 2 years. I had to switch jobs because, they switched my miles on me, got me, I was making $150 less a week. So I said, nope. I said, I'm all about moving forward. And within 3 days, I was at orientation for another contractor. My boss at that last one, I don't know if he listens to this episode or this podcast, if he does, hey, Craig Wall, give him a shout out, a little fist bump. I don't even know if he's still the manager at that company, because I heard one of the other drivers that I wasn't too fond of, I heard she's managing now, and I'm like, oh, great, good thing I'm not going back to that company, because I don't think she liked me. Maybe she did, that's why she seemed like, I don't know, it's one of those, have you ever had those occasions where, in person, somebody seems nice, but then when you're in a group chat with the rest of the, especially like a employee chat, me and all the other employees and the manager, we're all in this chat. Like, whenever I would meet in person, this lady that I worked with, one of the drivers, she seemed nice, but on the chat and text message, seemed like a complete bitch. And that's why I'm not saying her name, but I'm sure if she listens, she'll know who she is, I'm sure. Possibly, unless she forgot about me by now, who knows. But, but if you are listening and you know who you are, and you realize that this is about you, that's why I'm being so, vague, because you know how it is, I can be talking about anything. I didn't mention the company I was with or anything, as far as when this happened. But if you listen to this and you think it's about you, I'll just say I apologize, because this is just how I felt back then when I worked with that company. It was that, oh my god, this seemed like a nice enough person, but seemed like kind of a bitch in text message, So I was like, yeah. It was nice when I left and went to another company, and that company, they didn't do the group chats. They didn't have all the drivers in one chat, so it was pretty awesome. The only people I heard from were the actual driver manager whenever he had to, hey, Chris, I need you to do such and such. Can you go do this one pickup over here because the driver got sick and won't be able to do it? Like, yeah, I'll do it. Or, hey, I need you to stay, do an extra run because, okay. But yeah, it's all good, But so anyway, guys, all we can do is do the best that we can with what we got. And so, even though I had those couple of days off and I wasn't really happy about it, of course I got to deal with my redheaded wife. It's very fiery, and of course I got to answer to her when it comes to I don't know, she's like, have you heard anything from your boss? I'm like, no. I've messaged him. He said such and such. It's like, there's only so much that I can really say that'll put her mind at ease. Because because if I'm not working, she knows that that's going to be less of a paycheck. And there's not really much I can say to change that or make that any better. So it's just all we can do is do the best we can, you know. And so that's kind of why I do the been working on the writing stuff, because you know I already have some potential publishers I can talk to that, you know, to work on getting my work published and start, you know, that'll be, you know, a step in the right direction as far as the finances goes. And also working on getting the disability rating improved. That'll help, you know. I'm doing little steps, you know, little things that, you know, in the big picture will help make things a little bit easier, so that if I lose a couple days here, a couple days there because there's no loads, then I don't have to stress as much, because I'll be like, well, rent's already covered, you know, so we're just having to pay the smaller bills, you know. And it'd be really of help tonight. It's like, it's one of those things where I'm saying, like, it's really easy. It's way too easy to allow yourself to give in to the darker feelings, like the negativity and whatnot, and the doubt and worry and the fear. And then you just start to get depressed, and you start to struggle to be motivated to do what you gotta do. And I deal with that all the time, you know. I try to put it's one of those things, like with my kids, even though I know, I'm sure they know that, you know, hell, they know that both me and my wife, that we have our struggles and whatnot. My wife's dealing with pain all the time, chronic pain from something that they've been trying to figure out for years what's wrong. And then me, I've got all the stress with like the finances and work and whatnot, and so, you know, that's why I have my routine where on my weekend I do my adult beverages, I hang out, relax, Netflix, whatever. And even though one thing I will openly admit to is that whenever I'm not working, like whenever we go on vacation, I don't feel the need to drink as much. Like, I still enjoy, don't get me wrong, I still enjoy drinks. You know, still grab a you know, like a margarita here or a beer there or whatever. It's not, you know, nothing like what I currently do on my days off. You know, where I do like 2 of this one, 2 margaritas, you know. So it's like probably like maybe like 4 or 5 drinks, little, you know, these little canned drinks or whatever per night, you know. Nothing too hard like a freaking Fireball, like what I still love Fireball, but haven't done it in a while. Or vodka, haven't done that in a while either. Sometimes I'll do moonshine, the flavored stuff, you know, but I kind of backed away from beer a little bit because of the carbs, because again, diabetic, even though my wife sometimes sometimes have debates, of course, because like, well, alcohol turns to sugar in the bloodstream. I'm like, yeah, I'm aware of that, you know. I was like, but, you know, I'll come right out and say, hey, you know, it's just, that's how I, you know, some people will say that's how I cope. I say, yeah, that's how I deal with stuff, you know, it's how I just be unwinding and relaxing, and it helps. I'll even joke around sometimes, like self-medicating. But again, during my work week, I can't, because, you know, I'm a driver, so I don't do it during the week. But gotta find ways to just let loose and whatever, and deal with the stresses. And so that's why, like, that's one thing I wanted to talk about that I kind of got sidetracked earlier. As Meredith For Real, you know, that host Meredith on her podcast, Meredith For Real, you guys should go check her out, or check out her podcast, 'cause it's pretty awesome. And it's like Scott on What Was It Like? 2 awesome podcasts. But man, just did it again. You guys ever have it happen where you something you're trying to talk about, and then like you go down a rabbit hole, like what as Meredith calls a rabbit hole, you sidetrack, or I like to call it my train going off the rails, you know, my train derailed, and then I'm trying to get back on the tracks to figure out where I was going with it before. And before mentioning those other two podcasts, I remembered something I wanted to talk about, and then literally I mentioned those two podcasts, and all of a sudden my mind's blank again. I'm going, shit, I just had gotten it back, and then I lost it again. Like, fuck. So that's why this is called Real Talk Tuesday, guys, because like I'm just keeping it real with you guys. It's not scripted. I don't write out anything. And unfortunately, when you're doing that, you're trying to talk about something. All of a sudden, it slips. And you're going, I don't know where I was going with that. So maybe you guys think I'm nuts because of that. Maybe you guys can relate, because it happens to you too. Especially when you're tired, Like I told you earlier with the computer bag, I think, at the beginning of this podcast, where I called my daughter and said, like, can you look to see my computer somewhere, because I meant to bring it out here and I'm almost to work, so I can't turn around and come back and get it. So please, if you find it, please take it upstairs, because I don't want the grandson to break it, But I literally brought it downstairs and I had it on my shoulder and was planning to, because I thought if I set it down, I might forget it, so I was gonna have it on my shoulder. And then my wife was talking to me, talking about her day or whatever, and I put the bag down, came over and gave her a hug, whatever, real quick, and I went in the kitchen to grab my stuff, and I left the computer bag on my recliner, and I'm like, man, I took a couple precautions trying not to forget that bag, but I was tired, so of course, still forgot it. So, oh man, I wish I could remember what it was that like I forgot. I meant to talk about it earlier in the podcast episode, and it slipped, and then it came back, and then that somehow related to, that's why I said that related to like the rabbit hole comment, with Meredith, and then as soon as I mentioned her, all of a sudden I couldn't remember, like it slipped again. I went, man, it's probably being tired, guys. Thankfully I'm like 10 or 15 minutes away from Nashville hub, so I'm looking forward to getting back there. But anyway, guys, I'm not gonna worry about it, because while talking to you guys the last couple minutes, I've been trying to think, like, what was it again? What was it? 'Cause, man, it was something I wanted to cover, and then like, I have no idea now. I completely forgot. So yeah. The last few seconds was kind of just trying to think of a couple different. I was like, was it this? Was it that? And no, those weren't it. It's like, that sucks. That happens to me a lot, But with my schedule and stuff, it's like, hell, I don't even have to be drinking for me to be like forgetful. It'll just happen. Even on day like, it might be a little bit easier if I have like actually a lot of sleep and I slept really well, then it might not happen. But most days, it'll happen to me at least once or twice. So I'll be like, well, at least during the episode, it's not as bad, because I'm not like, okay, here's one part where, real talk, guys, real talk. Here's one of the, when, it's worse when you're dealing with it, like you're talking to somebody, like you're standing there next to them, you're talking to, I guess on the phone works too, but on the phone's a little bit better because you're still by yourself, so you can just not say anything, like, oh, never mind. But in person, if you're standing next to somebody, you guys are having a conversation, and then there's something that you want to, oh yeah, it's cool, it's like such and such, blah, 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 blah. This happened, whatever. I've had it happen so many times where, like, I get to the swap, I'm chatting with one of the other drivers from the team that I meet up with, and Chuck's like, yeah, this is going on, blah, 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 and I'm like, yeah, Chuck, it's like this, such and such happened or whatever, and I'll get partway into what I'm talking about, and something else will happen nearby, and then it'll get our attention, we'll turn and, oh, that's interesting, that person just ran over, they just, like, threw trash out the window or something, and then he will look back at each other, he'll be like, so what were you saying? I'm like, I have no freaking idea, I totally forgot. I'm like, he goes, oh, okay, and I'm like, if I remember, I'll try to tell you, but I was like, it's gone. Like, my mind's blank. He goes, yeah, I hate when that happens. I was like, yeah, me too. I was like, but, I was like, it probably won't come back. And, you know, sometimes when it does come back, you forgot it enough to where as it comes back, you don't even realize that that's what you wanted to say before, if that makes sense. But, you know, it's like, oh, man. So, that's one of the things that happens to me a lot, you know. I'm always brain fried from working either overnights or not getting enough sleep or something, Or if my days off, I might be brain fried because of not hydrating enough the night before or after I enjoying my beverages, you know. Party a little too hard, so to speak. Even though I don't go out and party, I literally just enjoy my drinks at home, get my writing done, watch Netflix, go to bed. So, anyway, y'all, like I already mentioned, you know, because even though I have no idea how to monetize the show yet, that's a goal for the future. It's why I figure I'm just gonna keep going with it, and then eventually I'll figure things out. But for now, the only things I do, which are technically they're not paid advertising. It's like I mentioned, a few links that are on my website for you guys to check out if anybody wants to learn how to do, like, you know, there's like digital marketing courses. The Legacy Builder, which is a community-based one. You know, it's logishow.com/freedom. You get access to community, you get video, step-by-step guidance with that one. And then there's a cheap course that I offer that's digital marketing. It's a lot cheaper, just doesn't have all the bells and whistles. $49 course. logishow.com/digital49 for that one. If you're a cook or you are passionate about cooking but you want to actually better your skills, I have a course for that too. logishow.com/masterchef. And then if you're an affiliate marketer and you want to maybe like hone your skills a little bit, go to logishow.com/affiliate and check those links out or whatever. Anybody that wants to support the show, if you like what you hear, if you enjoy my stories, any support, of course, would help. Would basically, you know, go towards keeping the show active, keeping everything live and on the air and whatnot. Go to logishow.com/support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much in advance. But for the podcast that I was talking about, Meredith's podcast is called Meredith for Real, a Curious Introvert. She's got like a picture of her face on like a yellow background for her podcast logo, her podcast image, I guess. And then, what was that like with Scott Johnson? That is a pretty amazing podcast as well. He basically talks about, they both interview people pretty much. Him and Meredith, they both interview people on their shows. Scott interviews people about like random, like unique situations that happen that, you know, you never expect, like surviving a plane crash, just lots of unique situations. Like I mean, there's a lot of them. I don't even know. It's like a couple hundred, like 200-ish or 180 at least episodes. I think on his show is like every other Tuesday or every other Friday, I think, and then every other Tuesday, I think, is the they have like a Tuesday question that him and Meredith get together and they, you know, basically have like a half-hour discussion. So it's a pretty awesome podcast. You guys should definitely check it out. And of course, Rico, my brother from another mother. He has a podcast as well that he's kind of slowly getting back into. And he's done a couple episodes. It's been a while, but from what I hear, he's done a couple of recent episodes. He just hasn't posted them. So I guess he's working on trying to, perfect them. So, but if you want to check out what he currently has, probably has like a dozen episodes on there right now. It's all about the history of hip hop and whatnot. So, pretty awesome podcast. Go to blogdashow.com/Rico, RICCO, and check him out. But on that note, guys, you know what I always say at the end of every show? If you keep on pushing forward, keep believing, believe you can, believe you will, and you're already halfway there. And then you just have to go out there and do it. We only fail if we quit, give up, and walk away. So as long as you continue to get back up after you fail, and you try again, you have not failed. I always like to say that. What is it? Edison that did the light bulbs. He didn't fail 1,000 ways of doing his light bulb, or at getting his idea to work. He just found 999 different ways that actually didn't work. So, as long as you get up and you try again, and you refuse to stop until you figure it out, you will never be a failure. Might take you a while. Might take you a couple years. Might take quite a few years, depending on what you're trying to do. It's like my wife and I trying to get in a position to buy a house. We've been married almost 18 years, and we've been renting this whole time. But the way things look, I believe that will have us in a house probably within the next 2 years, I hope. And so, like I said, as long as you keep, you try, basically like my mentor Tara, with the Legacy Builder program. A little fist bump there, a little shout out to her again. If something doesn't work, pivot and try something else. And if that doesn't work, you pivot again. You just try something else. You keep trying to figure something else out until you find something that works. And then, after all that, what you would call a failure, it's not failure, because again, you didn't quit, you kept going. You finally found something that worked, and you finally achieved what you're after. So that's kind of what I've been doing with the trying to figure out how to make money on the side, or how to earn online, how to be home full time. Started doing that probably about 6 or 7 years back. Was with a different team on Facebook. I had no clue what the hell I was doing. Didn't understand the stuff where they'd give you these little guidance, whatever. Here, just do this, do that, follow the step by step. Just follow the system, whatever. Trust the process is basically what we're told. Trust the process, follow the system. It's proven, it's step by step, blah blah blah. And I was doing it, and through all the many step by step systems that I've done, and I'm still out here working, but because especially with the digital marketing course and stuff like that, my experiences online, I know a lot more now than I did, and now I'm a lot more comfortable doing little short videos to try to advertise whatever I'm trying to advertise, or try to promote something, or try to send somebody, even if it's not something trying to make money. It's just, I know I could do these little short videos and share them to all the different platforms. And then, hey, I got a video, it's out there, it's digital real estate, But I didn't know that before. And it's all about continuing to find things that find ways for you to grow, So, as long as you're continuing to push forward, you're continuing to grow and develop as a person, and as either an entrepreneur, or could be a podcast host, or whatever. You're continuing to just move forward. Sometimes if something falls through, like for instance, in my current job, if I have 2 more weeks where I lose 2 or 3 days, like I said, I'm not sticking around. I've been hanging out here and hanging with him and doing my best, because then I'll have weeks where, okay, we're doing good. Okay, I get the miles. All right, cool. So I'm sticking out. And then we have weeks like last week where I missed 2 days. I'm like, all right, like if this doesn't get better, I'm gonna have to leave. And then of course it improves. So I'm like, I'm still here, trying to stick it out here while I'm doing like the podcast, while I'm doing the online entrepreneur stuff, while I'm working on my books. You know, because I'd rather figure some of that stuff out and have one of those get me off the road and not have to go start another job. but you know, it's like, just gotta keep at it, do the best you can, but be willing to, if you have to, like if your job isn't giving you the hours or whatever, then be willing to make a change to go somewhere where they can treat you better, where they treat you like you deserve. You know, they give you the better hours that you need, better benefits, maybe you get better vacation time. Like that's one reason why I leave my job, because we don't really get very good time off, like very good vacation time here. Like it's accrued like 4 hours per month based on the number of hours of work. So it would take like a year to get like a week. Not even a week. We'd have like, I think that's about right from what I remember. But then if you miss days, he'll just apply those PTO days to those days and try to make your paycheck a little bit better, but then you don't have those days to use as actual vacation days. So, but gotta be willing to go to just make changes and stuff if you have to. But anyway, y'all, I know I've been going on for quite a while, so I hope everybody hope you all have a great rest of your week. Don't be a stranger and come back on Friday, because I do have a story in the works for Storytime Friday. I'm trying to keep active with those. Try to keep active for this routine, you know, Tuesday, Real Talk Tuesdays, and Friday for Storytime Friday. So come back on Friday for the next story. You know, episodes for both Tuesday and Friday. Generally, I have them post by like 5:15 on 5 p.m. or 5:15 p.m. Central Time, Tuesdays and Fridays. So if you like the show and can't necessarily support monetarily, please tell your friends. You know, like and share, put a little like 5-star rating, whatever you want to do. You know, word of mouth is also a good way to support and let other people know about the show and get more listeners over here and stuff. But anyway, guys, on that note, I'll let you guys go. Keep being awesome, keep doing what you're doing, and remember, you haven't failed as long as you haven't given up and walked away. So keep pushing forward, keep working on it, keep trying new things, and if it doesn't work, try something else. We got this, guys. But on that note, you guys have an awesome rest of your week, and I will talk to you later. Have a good one.